Greetings, one and all. My name is Professor Xander, and I am here today to teach you about this wonderful world we live in named Æthoun. This is the first episode of the series, so if you're watching this, you're on the right track. If you need to continue to learn more information about this place, wait until the very end of this footage, and you will be linked to a collection of it. The first thing you'll need to learn about Æthoun is that it's very different in terms of magic from anywhere else you may know of. And if there is anywhere you know of aside from Æthoun, then there's a major issue because the wormholes I had sealed before have returned in full force. But I'm getting off topic. That is a scientific concern, and you are here to learn about the magic of this world. After all, the two coincide, and you can't learn one without knowing about the other. And seeing as the magic is far easier to understand than the science, let's begin there. Essentially, magic in this world acts like magnetized materials. How do those work? Well, entities that are inherently magical can draw magic to themselves simply by being in the world, and some places have higher concentrations of magic than others. However, once enough magic has gathered within any single body, no more will be attracted to said body. This limit can vary from person to person, and rather than focusing on just the total volume available for storage of this magic, the initial amount of magic within any given entity and their ability to manually attract and hold excess magic must also be considered. More storage can be built through constant gathering of excess mana, much like overeating can expand your stomach. Additionally, magic will act like a gas when there is no strong enough attractor nearby. It will fill all available space and spread out as evenly as possible. Factors such as temperature, scent, appearance, and taste vary depending on the basemost variety of magic or magics present. Speaking of, there are 7 base magic varieties with countless subclasses: earth, air, fire, water, dark, light, and ether. It is next to impossible to gain access to more than one variety of magic in this way, and gaining access to 3 or more, or even attempting to, is fatal. Assuming an individual could gain access to all but the ether varieties of magic, it would diffuse itself into ether magic. If one gained access to all varieties of magic, yet again, it would all diffuse into ether magic. Individuals with access to a certain variety of magic will only attract the same kind of magic, much the opposite of poles when referring to magnetism. However, trying to forcefully take in incorrect forms of magic can result in very odd and possibly dangerous or lethal consequences. This is why, without the interaction of a amoeba and a great deal of luck, individuals cannot change their variety of magic. We will be discussing amoeba in greater detail later on. Perhaps the most unpredictable of all magics, and therefore the most dangerous, is ether magic. Ether is the most common sort of magic in the world, and yet the least commonly used by casters. Individuals who are able to use magic. This is because it's extraordinarily rare to be born with access to ether magic without being related to, or without quite literally being, an inherently magical wild animal. This is because animals cannot actively know what sort of magic they're subconsciously wielding, and therefore can only draw on magic through passive means. Considering ether magic can take in any other sort of magic and transfer it into ether magic, and these little beasties need magic like air or nutrients to survive, evolution giving them the magic that can drain all others is just a logical step. Ether casters can also use this trick when they're low on energy in a battle. Of course, Mother Nature has to be her cruel self, and such an incredible ability has to have a downside. The trade-off is only gaining 10% of the magic absorbed as actual usable mana, much like the food chain's 10% rule. Finally, much like other forms of matter, any variety of magic can be condensed and or concentrated, though this is not recommended without proper instruments due to indefinitely dangerous, possibly destructive results. I mentioned that there was a lot more to magic before, didn't I? Many more varieties. That is because it is DNA specific. Yes, we have discovered that your DNA defines what sort of magic you'll get. It is affected by things like your parents, your upbringing, your surroundings, and if you were near any radioactive materials as a youth, which I was. Just one of the many reasons why I still wear this bag over my head. The final thing to cover rule-wise is the amoeba. These are such dense concentrations of raw magical energy that they've begun to act like a single-celled organism. Although these are highly primordial, they are often worshipped as gods because they can bring very many good effects. However, they can bring many destructive effects with them as well. All the more reason for people to worship them. The fools. Coming into contact with one could have countless effects, anything from transforming your body into a cartridge bottle of flesh and bone to altering the variety of magic you are capable of using, even granting heightened brain functions such as greater intelligence or higher cognitive function. It is highly recommended to steer clear of these anomalies, as it is akin to striding through a nuclear testing area. Oh, I nearly forgot. Chroma is what we consider the actual mana used to use magic. Now, most of the time, the chromas have similar effects in their own categories. Fire chroma tends to burn and destroy, while earth chroma tends to build and move. Now, how can you tell if you're a caster or not? After all, not everyone is born with chroma inside of them. It's quite simple, really. Every home has a device that's similar to a metal detector, except for chroma. If it senses that you have chroma inside of you, it will beep and you will know the instant you are born. In fact, they are in most hospitals. And if they're not in a hospital that you're born in, then yet again, many homes have them. And they are very, very cheap to purchase. After that, it's just a matter of going to a specialized school to teach how to use chroma. Assuming, of course, you're a caster. For example, us here at Patopa University, guiding you until the end. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. Don't forget to leave a note down below if you have any questions so I can answer them for you clearly and distinctly. Thank you all for tuning in to your first lesson of Æthoun. I can see a bright future for you. This video funded by the Patopa University Field of Directors. Patopa University, guiding you until the end.